Okay, so today we're going to do average rate of change using functions. So we're going to look at this table and we're going to calculate some average rates of change. So first they want us to calculate what's v of 9 minus v of 2. So v of 9 is this number. V of 2 is this number. So if I subtract them, I would get 1,848. And what does this answer represent? So it's about views. So number of views increased by 1,848. So then it says calculate the average rate at which the views are increasing from T2 to T9. So we're going to do change of views over change of hours. So that was the 1848, and then 9 minus 2 would give us 7 hours, which means 264 views per hour, right? So just like we've been doing. So now what they want us to do is, if we do it in intervals from 0 to 12, what is our change? And then from 12 to 24, what is our change? That's what this next question is asking. So let's do the 0 to 12 first. So 0 to 12, our views go from, so 2,890 minus 0 over 0 to 12. So, and that would just be 2,890 over 12, which is 241 views per hour. Then I'm going to separate it. We're going to look at from 12 hours to 24 hours. So we go from 3,753 minus 2,890. Then we go 24 minus 12. So that's really 863 over 12, which is 72 views per hour. So then, given interpretation, I'm just going to say first 12 hours there was more views, right? Because then it decreases for the second half. All right, so this talks about the average rate of change. So again, we're taking the two functions and changing y values over change of x values, just like we've done before. So now we could use it with like a function equation instead of a table. So they're saying from 0 to 4. So let's find f of 0 and plug it in. So that's 100 minus 6 times 0 squared, which is just 100. F of 4, so that's 100 minus 6 times 4 squared, which I'm going to use my calculator. I get 4. So on the top, I'm going to do 100 minus 4, 0 minus 4. So I get 96 over negative 4, which if I divide that, I get negative 24. And we could do the same here. Now we got decimals. So we're going to do f of negative 3.5. And we just plug that into here. And I'm going to just use my calculator. 100 minus 6 times negative 3.5 squared, and I get 26.5. And then I get f of 2.25 and do the same thing. get 69.625. So then, right, you gotta take your answers first, so 69.625 minus 26.5, 2.25 minus negative 3.5. So I gotta divide those. It's 26.5. And 2.25 minus negative 3.5. And then divide. 43.125 divided by 5.75. And I get 7.5 as my units. Alright, so now flip. Many times rate is independent of its time. The average rate is per unit time, per second, per mile, per minute, per hour. We already know this. So they gave us this equation and a graph for temperature. A graph of the temperature for the first 20 minutes is shown. Evaluate C of 0, which on the graph, C of 0 is 20. I'm not going to go through with all that because it literally is written right there. That's your starting temperature. So now they want to know for the first 5 minutes, what's the change? So now we do need to use our equation here. So we know C of 0 is 20. We need to know C of 5. So we're going to plug it into our equation. So that's 95 times 5 plus 100, 5 plus 5. So that's 95 times 5 plus 100, which is 57.5. So if we subtract those, I get 37.5 divided by 5, so 7.5 degrees Celsius per minute. So that's how much it's increasing per minute in that interval. Now they're saying from 5 to 10. So we already know C of 5 is 57.5. So now we need to do C of 10. So we're going to do 95 times 10 plus 100, 10 plus 5. So that's 15 on the bottom. And 1050 on top. I divide those and I get 70. And we're going to do the same thing. 70 minus 57.5 over 5. So that's 12.5 over 5. And I get 2.5 degrees Celsius per minute. Your rate in C should be less than B. How is this fact represented on the graph? You can see the slope is steeper in the first 5 minutes than it is later. So in the first 5 minutes. Average rates of change will be positive when the function increases and negative when it decreases, which is kind of obvious. And then, so they want to kind of show us this from this equation here. So find the average rate of change for t equals 2 to t equals 4. So let's do t of 2. So I would do negative 16, 2 squared, plus 112 times 2, plus 10, negative 16, 2 squared, plus 112 times 2 plus 10, and I get 170, and we got to do the same thing for t of 4. And I get 202, so then let's do 202 minus 170, 4 minus 2, so that's 32 divided by 2, which is 16. So now let's see what happens here. We have to find it for 3 and 7, so t of 3 is 202, t of 7 is 10, so we'll do 10 minus 202, 7 minus 3, so that's 4, and negative 192, which then gives us negative 48.